Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very warm welcome to this Monday, 20th October 2025 morning Srimad-Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to read from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 12, entitled Creation of the Kumaras and Others, Text 32. Before we discuss on this verse, let's sing Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura, Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupat Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Shudra Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthayabhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Krishna Materastu. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are going to read from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Text 32. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Yedam Svena Rochisha Atmastham Vyanjayam Asa Sadharmam Patumarhati. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Yaidam Svena Rochisha Atmastham Vyanjayam Asa Sadharmam Patumarhati. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Yaidam Svena Rochisha Atmastham Vyanjayamasa Sadharmam Patumharhati. Word by word. Tasmai, onto him. Namaha, obeisances. Bhagavate, onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yah, who, Idam, this, Svena, by his own, Rochisha, effulgence, Atmastham, situated in himself, Venjayam asa, has manifested, Saha, he, Dharmam, religion, Patam, for protection, Arhati, may kindly do so. Translation. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who, by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears herein that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal by his great sons like Marichi. Therefore the great sons began to pray to the Supreme Lord for the good sense of Brahma. It is only by the grace of the Supreme Lord that one can be protected from the allurement of lusty material desires. The Lord gives protection to devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental loving service. And by his causeless mercy, he forgives the accidental fall of a devotee. Therefore, sages like Marichi prayed for the mercy of the Lord, and their prayer was fruitful. Before we discuss on this verse, let us offer some prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namashreshtham Manamapi Shachiputram Matra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Murupurim Mathurim Goshthavati Radha Kundam Girivaram Maho Radhika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Adadandastrunam Dante Idam Yacha Punaha Punaha Shriman Rupa Padam Bhojam Dhulisyam Janma Janmani He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are going to read from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, Text 32. Tasmai namo bhagavate ya idam svena rochisha atmastham vyanjayamasa sadharmam patumarhati. Translation. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, who, by his own effulgence, while situated in himself, has manifested this cosmos. May he also protect religion for all goodness. So this is the prayers that Marichi and other Manasaputra, the mind-born sons of Brahma, are saying these prayers for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the unfortunate situation that Brahmaji was in can get resolved. So this is the wonderful nature of pure devotional service. The pure devotional service is, even though when there is difficulties, the devotee will offer oneself to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even when there is no difficulties, that offering remains strong. This is why yasyam vaishroyamanayam krishne paramapurushe bhaktir utpatyate pumsam shokamoha bhayapaha. So this shroyamanayam, this inclination to hear about Krishna, is the summum bonum of our existence. It is like when we are inclined to hear about Krishna, yasyam vaishruyamanayam. Who, about whom? Krishne Parama Purushe. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parama Purusha. Bhaktir utpadyate pumsam. So, when one is inclined to hear about Krishna, what is utpadyate? What gets inculcated is bhakti, devotional, loving devotional service. Bhaktya to ananya shakya ahamevo vidho arjuna yatum drishtum cha datvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that ananya shakya, ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that when there is this constant remembrance of Krishna, ananya cheta, satatam, constantly, yo mam smarati. Krishna says, one who is remembering me, nityasha, again constantly. The word constantly is used in different ways in that verse. Satatam, satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. There is another place where Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this is the continuous existence of pure devotional service that the pure devotee of Krishna exists in. Tesham evanu kampartam aham agyanajam tamha nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So Krishna says that to them I am showing special mercy, anukampartham. Aham agyanajam tamha nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Interestingly enough, coincidentally, this is the Diwali time that is happening now, and in some places Diwali is being celebrated today. So we can understand that this aham agyanajam tama nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So this lighting of the deepas, that is the jnana deepa. When one is lighting the deepa, when one is lighting that lamp, if one understands the significance behind lighting that lamp, agyanajam tamha nashyami atma bhavasto, that is the significance. So when there is atma bhava is this understanding of our existence as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Mama eva amsha jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana manaha shashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that all the living entities in this whole universe are my eternal part and parcels. Jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatana mama eva amsha. Certainly they are my part and parcels eternally. Sanatana. Manaha shashtani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Whenever I identify myself with my mind and the five senses, with the mind being the sixth sense, immediately there is karshati. There is struggle in this prakriti sthani. Prakriti sthani is in this material existence. So the struggle exists only in the material existence. It does not exist in the spiritual existence. And spiritual existence is the basis of all other type of experiences that we are getting. But that's the difference between the absolute reality and relative reality. So absolute reality is the awareness, pure awareness. That is absolute reality. It is not conditioned by anything else. It is just pure awareness. And that we are. Tattvam asi. That is a Veda Vakya. Aham Brahmasmi. Another Veda Vakya. I am Atma Brahma, another Veda Vakya. Prajnanam Brahman, another Veda Vakya. So you've got these four major Veda Vakyas, which is saying that we are only awareness as absolute reality. And that awareness is pure awareness in relationship with Krishna. So that is Mama Eva Amsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Eternally. So eternally the link with Krishna is established. So at no point in time that link gets lost. So then what do we think about this existence in the conditioned world? Manaha Shashtani Indriyani. So the moment I identify myself with the mind and the five senses, there is struggle. Otherwise, I fully am aware that the external experiences are relative. What do we mean by relative? It means that it depends on me as a jiva. That is why Krishna says Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Jiva Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. And so the jiva is the living entity that is considering itself as this particular existence in this particular body. And that is jiva. That means the jiva has got this, the different koshas, it is called. So there is Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. The kosha means the sheets. So we have the different sheets within us. The first one is based on the food, Annamaya. Then that's based on the breath, Pranamaya. And so the food and water is helping us to subsist, the external body. And then the breath is again another subsistence in the external body. Then we have Manomaya, you're going more inside. Manomaya is the mind. And the mind is Mana eva manushyanam karanam moksha bandhanai bandhaya vishaya sangha mokshaya nirvishayam mana. As it is mentioned in the scriptures that mind itself is a cause of bondage and mind itself is a cause of liberation. Bandhaya vishaya sangha. When the mind is attached to the sense objects, it is conditioned. It is conditioned by the experiences that it is attached to or the experiences that it wants to run away from. And so that is the raga and dvesha. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutra mentions about the pancha kleshas, the 5 kinds of impurities. And it starts with avidya. Avidya is ignorance. So this is what is aham ajnana jam tama. Ajnana is again ignorance. So this ignorance is the cause of asmita. Asmita means this thinking that I am this particular body. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. Pumsam stri mithuni bhava metam. Tayo mithor hridaya granthi raho. Ato grha kshetra sutapta vittar. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. So this is a very beautiful verse in Srimad-Bhagavatam. And this is what is being mentioned here as well. The lust for sexual intercourse is so strong that it appears here in that Brahma could not be dissuaded from his determination in spite of the appeal by his great sins like Marichi. This is what is Pumsam Stri Mithuni Bhava Metam. This Yen Maithunadi Grahamedi Sukham Hitucham Kandu Yenena Karayo Riva Dukha Dukkham. Very beautiful verse that is mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam again, that this interest in so this is this kama, kamesha krodesha rajo guna samudbhavam mahashano mahapapma vidhyena miha vairinam. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna asks this question, that what is the reason that even though one does not want to engage in sinful activities, one is forced to sometimes do things which one does not want to do. Then Krishna says, the reason is kamesha krodesha rajo guna samudbhavam. So Krishna says that it is the lust and it is the anger which is created by the mode of passion, rajo guna samudbhavam. And then Krishna says mahashano mahapapma. This is the greatest enemy of a person, of a jiva. Vidhyena miha vairinam. Know that these are the real enemies. So generally, in our existence in this material world, we kind of think that the enemies are existing outside, and those enemies needs to be taken off. They need to be subdued. But actually, the enemies are within. This is called Arishad Vargas. It is mentioned in the scriptures about, just like we were talking about the Shad Vikar from the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. So the Shad Vikar is, there is avidya, which is ignorance. Then ignorance is leading to asmita. Asmita is this thinking that I am this particular body. Then when I think that I am this particular body and mind, then there is raga and dvesha. The mind, through its chitta. Chitta is the subconscious. The subconscious is a storehouse of all the so-called unlimited experiences that we have been experiencing as the living entities since time immemorial. Anadi Bahirmukha Jeev, Krishna Bhuli Gela. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the jiva, the living entity, is Anadi Bahirmukha. From since time immemorial, the living entity without any beginning is Bahirmukha. Bahirmukha is facing away from Krishna. Krishna Bhuli Gela. They have forgotten Krishna. Atev Krishna Ved Puran Karela. So it is mentioned in the scriptures. That is the reason that there is Vedas and Puranas, Upanishads, Itihasa. All that is there because we have somehow or other, the Lord is Vedaischa Sarve Rahameva Vedyo, Vedanta Krat Vedanta Vedevacha. So Krishna, this is what is Tesham Evanu Kampartham. There is costless mercy of Krishna that somehow or other the living entities can regain their lost knowledge. Bhuli Gela, that forgotten. So how is this forgetting taking place? That is because the moment one is getting a body in this material existence, immediately there is this thinking that this bodily existence is the only existence. Not understanding that the bodily existence is relative reality. One is not saying that it is totally a mithya. It is totally false. Like the Advaita, there is an analogy which is Sarpajushi. So basically a rope and a snake analogy. The analogy that is given is that in darkness, if someone considers the rope as a snake, one is afraid because a snake bite might cause poison and one might die. So because it's dark, the rope is considered as a snake. That is ignorance, the darkness of ignorance. But when there is light, immediately one will see that that was not a snake, it is a rope. And immediately that fear goes away. So exactly in the same way, the living entity, when one thinks that the only existence is in the body and mind, there is no other existence, one considers the existence in body and mind as the absolute reality. In that sense, when one is in that sense, that is like misidentifying the rope like a snake. So one is always mana shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati happens. The struggle in this material existence happens because one considers that the absolute reality is only the body and mind. There is nothing else other than that. So body physiology and then mind psychology. The two fields also we have. So psychiatrist is a field where one is looking after the mind and physiology. So basically this is the only, one never understands that the basis of the body and mind is that dehi nosmin yatha dehe. the proprietor of the body within the body, due to which there is kaumaram, yauvanam, jara. There is childhood, youth and old age. And then tatha dehantaram prapti. So similarly, when the work in this particular body has been done, then there is dehantara. There is this change of the body. Dhiras tatra na mohyati. A person who is sober, dhira. Dhira is someone who is always established in absolute truth. That is dhira. So they are always in connection with Krishna. Then in that situation, bhayam dutiya bhiniveshatah syat ishadapetasya viparyayo asmriti tam maya buddha bhajet tam bhaktyeka isham gurudevatatma. And so that is mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam that this fear happens because one thinks that there is something other than Krishna. Actually, there is nothing other than Krishna. Maya tatam vidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tisha avastita. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that he is pervaded everywhere. So everything is resting on him, but he is personally not present there. And so this is the wonderful nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This aham rite artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tama. So na pratiyeta cha atmani. There is nothing that exists without Atma. Aham Atma Gudha Kesha Sarva Bhuta Shayastita Aham Adishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanam Antameva Cha. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that, O Arjuna, I am also the soul. So how is Krishna the soul? He is that is the internal energy of Krishna. So you got the Antaranga Shakti, the Bahiranga Shakti and the Tatastha Shakti. The internal energy of Krishna is we as an eternal part and parcel of the Lord. The external energy of Krishna is Bhumirapa Vayu Khammana Buddhirevacha Ahankaram iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intelligence and false ego. So the 8 separated energies, Krishna says. They are the Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy of the Lord. So and then we as living entities, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. Apareyam itastu anyam vidhime prakritim param. The Jiva Bhuta, the Jivas, are the superior energy of the Lord. Because the Jivas are in animation. That is a property of Jiva. Ajiva means, if we are saying Ajiva, that means it does not have the living force in it. That is so that is Mrita Sharira. That is Mrita Sharira is the dead body. The dead body is not Jiva in a sense, because that living force has gone from the body, and that's why it has become dead. So this is the difference between Jiva and Ajiva. Ajiva is Mrita Sharira. Jiva is this entity who is eternally part and parcel of Krishna, but somehow has misidentified oneself with the 5 senses and the body and the mind and the whole material existence. So this is what is the prayer here in this particular verse, and it is really very wonderful that it is coincidentally happening in this auspicious occasion of Diwali, this particular verse that we are discussing. Tasmai Namo Bhagavate. So here there is a wonderful worship of Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Bhagavan Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasasya Jnana Vairagyaschayana Sannamiti Bhaga Itingana. So it is mentioned by Parashara Muni, the definition of Bhagavan, Bhagavate. One who has got total opulence. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya, totally, 100. So there is no opulence in this whole universe that does not belong to Krishna. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. So Krishna is the actual owner of everything, because everything is emanating from him. Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bodha bhava samanvita. Krishna says everything is emanating from me. So that means nothing exists. There is nothing which is not dependent on Lord. Everything is, but he himself is Swarat. This is what is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yato anvayaditaratascha artheshu abhignyas Swarat. The first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is mentioning that everything is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. So this is Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincham Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjitha Magrata Kasya Sviddhanam. So as it is mentioned in Sri Ishopanishad that everything is belonging to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So here is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya. So the Supreme Lord has total opulence, total strength, total fame, Yashasa, total beauty, Shriya, total knowledge, Jnana, and total renunciation, Vairagya. So this is, it's really interesting. The group of 6 is coming repeatedly. So you got this Shad Vikar, that is the 6 kinds of impurities according to Patanjali, which we discussed. There is ignorance, there is egoism. Ignorance causes egoism, that thinking that I am this body. Then there is attachment and repulsion, and strong attachment, strong repulsion, raga dvesha, and then there is abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is fear of death. So avidya, asmita, raga dvesha, and abhinivesha. So we have that, and then you have the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. So we have this unfortunate Ari Shad Vikar, it is called. So Ari means the enemy. Shad Vikar is the 6 kinds of enemies which are in a way very causing a lot of hassle to the living entity. So what is this? Kama, lust, krodha, anger, moha, attachment, delusion. Mada is arrogance and egoistic existence. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. Matsarya is jealousy. And so this is the different types of challenges that are caused by ignorance. It is a call because of ignorance. Otherwise, yastva atma ratireva syadatma triptasya manava atmanyeva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that when one is totally saturated within, because one is totally full without anything. That is what is Swarat. Just like Krishna is Swarat, independent. He's not dependent on anyone. The living entity, when they are fully in connection with Krishna, they are also Swarat. Because that relationship with Krishna helps them to become Swarat. By their own, they are not Swarat. They are not independent. This is what is Paropi Manute Anartham Tatkritam Cha Vipadyate Yaya Sammohito Jivo Atmanam Trigunatmakam. It is mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam that where is Samyak Rupena Mohita, when there is total attachment to this material existence, the Atma is seemingly coming under the influence of Trigunatma, Trigunatmakam, Tribhir Gunamayer Bhaver Ebhi Sarvamidam Jagat, Mohitam Nabi Janati Mamebhya Paramavayam. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, when the living entities are under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, Tribhir Gunamayer Bhaver Ebhi Sarvamidam Jagat, the whole material existence, A Brahma Bhona Loka Punaravartino Arjuna, starting from Brahma Loka, And we see this in this. This is happening in Brahmaloka. This particular incidents that we are discussing in these verses, they are happening in Brahmaloka. So from Brahmaloka, which is the topmost loka, onwards, Punaravartino Arjuna. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that there is this this existence is constantly coming and going. So there is this cycle of creation and destruction that happens. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Just like the living entities themselves are constantly coming into existence and going out of existence, similarly this material existence, material universe is also in that cyclical existence. So there is this creation of this material universe, and that's what we have been reading here since last few chapters and the cantos itself. The creation is being discussed. How Brahmaji is coming out of the navel of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Shantakaram Bhujaka Padmanabham. The Nabhi, from the navel, there is Padma, and Brahmaji is coming there, and then he does not understand what he should be doing, and then he hears the word tapa, that is the austerity that he should be engaged in, and then when he engages in austerity, then he understands what he should be doing. So this is the existence of the material realm. It is there is constantly there is this creation and destruction that happens. Abrahma Bhonaloka Punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetya Punarjanmam Dukhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim Paramam Gata. As it is mentioned by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that once when one attains the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Goloka Namni Nijadhamni Talecha Tasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Lichaya Bhitascha Yena Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is mentioned in Brahma Samhita, where it is mentioned about the supreme abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. That is called Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So Goloka Namni Nijadhamni Talecha Tasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu. So this is the, when one is focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, Mana Eva Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mame Vaishyasi Uktvevam Atmanam Mat Parayana. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, that if the mind is absorbed in Krishna, Man Mana Bhava, one becomes engaged in devotional service of the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnum Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhakti Chet Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavati Ardha Tanmanya Aditam Uttamam. As Prahlad Maharaj mentions in Srimad-Bhagavatam, the 9 kinds of devotional service: hearing, Shravanam, then Kirtanam, then talking about the Lord, then Smaranam. So when there is Shravanam and Kirtanam strongly, then there is Smaranam, remembrance. Then there is Archanam, offering flowers to the Lord. Vandanam, saying prayers to the Lord. So this is Vandanam here. Tasmai namo bhagavate yadidam svena rochisha atmastam vyanjayam asa sadharmam patamarhati. This is Vandanam. So this is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. Padasevanam is there, offering service to the lotus feet of the Lord. Like Lakshmi ji is constantly at the lotus feet of the Lord. And this is the wonderful nature of Lakshmi ji. Generally, it is said that Lakshmi ji is, in a sense, chanchala. Chanchala means not staying at one place. But one of the wonderful qualities of Lakshmi ji is that even though from that perspective she is chanchala, but from the perspective of being with Narayan, she is never away from Narayan. It's constantly at the feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also in the heart of the Lord. So this is Lakshmi Narayan. So this is, so Shri Sampradaya is coming from Lakshmi ji. So you got the Brahma Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, which is coming from Lord Shiva himself, and then you got the Kumara Sampradaya, which is coming from the four Kumaras. And this is this chapter, creation of the Kumaras and others. So these are the Vaishnava Sampradayas, the four Vaishnava Sampradayas, and this is what is Sampradaya Vihina Mantra Nishvalas. It is said that if the mantra is not coming within the Sampradayas, unfortunately its potential is not, it does not, so the potency is coming because of the Sampradaya, because it is, this is what is evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu, as Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, that the knowledge is coming in disciplic succession, and that is Sampradaya. That is a parampara. A parampara means that continuation of that disciplic succession. Parampara praptam, and imam rajarshayo vidu. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that this Bhagavad Gita can be understood by people who are the category of Raja Rishi. So one who has got the saintly qualities and who also has got the qualities of king. Of course, someone who is purely saintly and doesn't have the qualities of the king are equally qualified to understand Bhagavad Gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam as well. Because it is bhaktya mam abhijanati. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that knowing the Lord can be done only through devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschashmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. So bhaktya mam abhijanati. So through devotional service only one can know me, Krishna says. He doesn't say karmanam mam abhijanati. He doesn't say you can understand me through karma. He doesn't say jnana mam abhijanati. He doesn't say through the transcendental knowledge you can understand me, but he says bhaktya mam abhijanati. Yavan yaschashmi tatvata. Then one understands the Lord tatvata. Janma karmam cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata. Tyaktva deham punajanmam naiti mameti savarjana. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that when one knows that Krishna's birth, janma and karma, his activities are divyam, divine. In tattvata, that means in truth, that means experientially. That means the whole pore, every pore of existence is 100% situated in that truth. That Krishna's birth and Krishna's activities are divine. Tyaktva deham punarjanmam naiti. Krishna says after giving up this body, one does not get another material body. Then what happens to such a person? Mam eti so Arjuna. Krishna says, oh Arjuna, such a person comes back to me. And so this is the wonderful, costless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is this where Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that there is Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syupapayona shriyo vaishyas tata shudra tepi amte param gatim. So it does not matter. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhira shumbha yavana khasadaya ye anye cha papa yada pashraya shraya shuddhyanti tasmai prabha vishnave namah. It does not matter what kind of existence we are in. Unfortunately, depending on whatever activities have been done, unfortunately or fortunately. Fortunately in the sense that if we are taking responsibility for our action, then we are fortunate. Because when we take responsibility for our action, we'll ensure that all our actions are done as a yagyartha karmana anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Tadartham karma konteya mukta sangha samachara. So this mukta sangho nahamvadi dhrityutsaha samanvita siddhya siddhyo nirvikara karta satvika uchyate. Very beautiful verse by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He talks about what is work in mode of goodness. The work in mode of goodness is mukta sangha. That means one is detached from the results of that work. So one is doing the activities as an offering of love for the Lord with full dedication, with full determination, with full enthusiasm. Utsahat nishya dharya tat karma pravartanat. So that is mukta sangha. Naham vadi. So one is the sense of doership is not there. Because one fully is situated in the fact that everything is being done, that the person, because one is fully surrendered, the Lord is using the person as nimitta matram bhava sabyasachi. As Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, you become an instrument. So because of total surrender, one fully knows that one is an instrument of the Lord. Mukta Sangha Naham Vadi, Dhrityutsaha Samanvita, full of determination and enthusiasm. Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikara. Siddhi means when one has attained what one wants to attain. That perfection in endeavor. So when one attains perfection in one's endeavor, then one in a way has attained the goal of that endeavor. So that particular line is saying that whether one attains perfection or the goal or one does not, nirvikara. One does not get tossed in the ocean of accomplishment and non-accomplishment. One is totally detached. One is doing all the activities as an offering of love for Krishna. Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikara Karta Satvika Uchyate. It is mentioned work in mode of goodness is that. Such a wonderful state of existence it is. And that also is under the influence of modes of material nature. It's just unbelievable in that sense. That if we have this mukta sangha, totally detached from everything else, naham vadi, without ego, not egoistic, dhrityutsa, one has determination and enthusiasm, samanvita, siddhya siddhya, one is not affected by the loss or gain, that is sattvika. So what is mam chayo avya bicharena bhakti yogena sevate? That is totally the bhakti yoga transcends even the sattva. That is vishuddha sattva. Yeah, that is where the activities are purely done just because one is in love with the Lord. One does not think about attachment or detachment. One does not think about loss or gain. One does not think about the modes of material nature. The only thought process is that how can I satisfy Krishna? And this actually one can actually understand this from that pastime of Krishna, where it is mentioned that Krishna had shown this pastime of having a headache. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is totally free from all kinds of ailments. Nava Yauvanam cha. The Lord is eternally youthful and eternally in a blissful state of existence. But he, in a pastime, he showed this pastime of having a headache. And then he said that the solution would be that he gets the dust from the feet of his devotee that he can put on his forehead. And that will remove his headache. So then this pastime, it is mentioned in this pastime that it is asked from all the great sages and everyone, but everyone is afraid of doing that because it is like doing a sinful activity. Like the Lord's the dust from the Lord's foot should be put on the head of the living entities. So, but this is going the other way around. The Lord is asking from the living entity. So everyone is afraid of doing that because they are thinking that this would be not the right thing to do. So this is like being under the control of the mode of goodness. So that is the example of being control of mode of goodness. But then you see about the gopis, when finally it is gone to the gopis, this request, immediately everyone is ready to do that. Because their only thought process is that Krishna has got this headache and it needs to be cured. They are not thinking about anything else. And so this is bhakti. And bhakti is where the love for the Lord is so strong that everything else becomes insignificant. All the other considerations are zero. The only consideration is that how Krishna can be satisfied. And this is the highest state of existence. Prema Pumartho Mahan. Because we are going to Chatur Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Religiosity, economic development, there is sense enjoyment, Kama, and then Moksha, liberation. So this is called the Chatur Purusharthas. But Prema is such that the love for the Lord transcends the Chatur Purusharthas. And this is why Krishna says, Devi Yesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. That this my Maya, my energy, so my material energy is extremely difficult to overcome. Devi Yesha, and it is divine, and it is Gunamayi. It has got these three modes of material nature which are like the ropes that are binding the living entity. You've got a golden rope, a silver rope, and you can say an iron rope. So this golden rope is like the mode of goodness. Silver rope is like the mode of passion, and the iron rope is like the mode of ignorance. So it is still a rope in that sense. It is still binding the living entity. Gunamayi, that is what is Gunamayi. Mama Maya Duratyaya. Krishna says that my energy is very difficult to overcome. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Krishna says someone who certainly surrenders unto me, prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. Krishna says that I ensure that such a person crosses over this material energy of mine. Tesha maham samudrartha mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara buddhi yogam upashritya matchitta satatam bhava. Tesham eva samudhartam. So basically Krishna says that bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. Don't worry. So this is what is ma shucha sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Krishna says don't worry. So sometimes one might think that if this is what is na iha abhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Because Arjuna asked this pertinent question to Krishna. He says that what happens to a person who has totally surrendered onto you, but somehow or other could not continue that surrender onto you, and because the material energy is so strong that surrender was not 100%, and because of that one unfortunately so is his situation like that cloud in the sky which is just drifting away, which is separated from the main cloud and drifting away. Then Krishna says that na iha abhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate, that there is no loss or diminution in this endeavor. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a small step in this direction of devotional service to Krishna can save one from greatest dangers. Because this is the wonderful nature of loving devotional service for Krishna. That somehow or other, if one gets attracted to the Lord, that is like once that love for the Lord has started, the only conclusion is that it is going to bring one back home, back to Godhead. It's just a matter of time, and time, as we know, is relative. Actually, when one is in the spiritual realm, there is no space, there is no time. Spiritual realm is basically a place where one is constantly in that relationship with the Lord, which is one's sthai bhava. That is called the Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi means the perfection of one's own original form. So every living entity has their unique form in which they are serving Krishna. That is Swarupa Siddhi. So when one has this love for the Lord, and when one is constantly remembering the Lord, there will come a time when one will know that what is one's Swarupa Siddhi. And that is the time when one gets established in that service. Then even though one might be externally engaged in all these activities, but the mind will always be engaged in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one gets established in one's eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what is Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Yedam Svena Rochisha. So this particular verse is offering obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ya idam svena rochisha. So through his own effulgence, and he is situated within himself. Atmastham Vyanjayam Asa. So through himself, he has manifested the whole existence. Aham Sarvasya Prabho. So Aham Evasam Evagre Nanyadyat Sadasat Param Pashadaham Yadetacha Yo Avashishyate Sosmi Aham. As Krishna says to Brahmaji, we see that in the previous canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, he says that it was only him that was existing in the beginning. Aham evasam evagre nanyadyat sadasat param. There was nothing else existing. Paschadaham yadetacha yo avashishyate sosmiha. After everything gets destroyed and everything, the cycle of creation and destruction is taking place, what remains in the end is again the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So that is what is Atmastham Vyanjayam Asa Sadharmam Patum Arhati. So Saha he dharmam religion patum for protection arhati may kindly do so. So this is Marichi. So the Manasa Putras of Brahma, they are saying this prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, that, O Lord, Tasmai Namo Bhagavate, please accept our humble obeisances, Shri Krishna. Ya idam svena rochisha. Who are you? You are, through your own effulgence, you have Atmastham Vyanjayam Asa. You're situated within yourself and you have manifested everything through your effulgence. Sadharmam Patum Arhati. Please help in this situation so that the dharma can be protected, so that the religiosity can be protected. Because we have seen in the previous verses that unfortunately, and this is the very the previous verses and this verse is very clearly indicating the precarious nature of the existence of the living entity. Even the living entity like Brahma, who is the first living entity and is called Padmaja, one who is born from the lotus, Atmaja. So he does not have a biological parent as such. He's directly coming from the navel of Mahavishnu, and he's situated in that lotus flower, and he's such a wonderful living entity. And even Brahma, we see in those verses, has come under the influence of the modes of material nature. What to speak of living entities like us? And so therefore, it is really important that somehow or other we have to always try and remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with this prayer that Yena Tena Prakarena Mana Krishna Niveshaya, that some way or other, let our mind be always fixed on Krishna. I'd like to conclude this verse. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशवरणे सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण. Thank you very much.